So today we are going to do with the sound of music. Both the parts will be covering. In this one, we'll be covering the part one. So, in the sound of music, okay, we'll be talking about Evelyn Glennie. Okay, she's a musician. She's a percussionist. Okay, she has played over, like many instruments. Okay, over you can say in her whole life she's almost played all the instruments which are there. All right, her orchestral work, her performances, they're just um, fantastic. And on top of that, okay, the main thing, the whole core of the story is that this person, this so extraordinary, so-called extraordinary person, she is deaf. Now, deaf, how could she, play those instruments, orchestral works, and all that? That is a wonder, right? And that's what we're going to talk about. It was not actually, her hearing impairment. That was not by birth. It was gradual. Like when she was at the age of 11, since the age of 6 or 7, when she was 8 years old, she started to lose her hearing, right? But when she was 11, she was like totally okay. The doctor advised to send her to a deaf school. Okay, she was fully like she had to use those devices, the hearing aids, right? The hearing aids had to be fitted. So all these things were happening, but it was a gradual process. All right, we'll be doing with the line to line explanation of this chapter. So I'll open the web only. That will be more helpful. Okay. So, look at the picture of Evelyn Glennie. She's Evelyn Glennie, okay? See, no? See, not? She is Evelyn Glennie. Right now, she's alive, okay? She's not dead. She is old, right? Now, she could hear nicely because she has those hearing aids. So, yeah, she could hear now. Okay? I'll show some interviews of it also. You could find it on the YouTube. When she's playing percussions, it's just awesome. Incredibly awesome. Alright. Now, let us first discuss the title, okay? The title itself is very interesting, right? In the first part, who are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Evelyn Glennie, right? So, here we go. Yeah. So the title itself is so very interesting. Okay, the author herself, who is Evelyn Glennie, she says that she listened to sound without hearing it. How did she do it? It's all wonder, right? She used to feel the vibrations which were going, right? She made her body adapt that she could hear the sound, she could feel those vibrations run through each of her body part. Okay, when there was a high drum, so she could feel that in her high waist. When there was a lower drum, she could feel that in her lower waist. So she made her body adaptable to that. Okay, she made her body adaptable to the sounds, the vibrations, the tone promotions and all that of the drums, of the instruments. Alright. So she said that she could hear music without listening. Okay, before proceeding, we saw in the very beginning was written that God might have taken her hearing. Yeah, God might have taken her hearing, but they've given her back with something very extraordinary. What we hear, right? Whatever we are hearing, we are gifted with so much nice ears, right? Whatever we hear, she could feel that, right? Far more deeply than any of us. She could feel that music more deeply than any of us are feeling. Okay, that is why she expresses music so beautifully. She could express music so beautifully because whatever we hear, she used to feel that. Someone has commented this about Evelyn. He says that although God took away her hearing power, who said this? Actually, this was said by a percussionist, okay, who was Ron Forbes. Ron Forbes said this. Okay, someone here is Ron Forbes. You can comment the extracts. Ron Forbes. Alright. So Ron Forbes, he commented about Evelyn. He said that, yeah, although God might have taken her hearing power, although she might be totally impaired, okay, although she was impaired, but she was gifted with something very, very extraordinary. That was a sense of feeling. Whatever we hear, she could feel that, right? She could feel it very, very deeply, far more than any of us would feel, far more than the normal people, right? And that is why she was, able to express the music so beautifully and so well. She was a well-known multi-percussionist. Okay, she multi-percussionist. Why? Because she could play Many instruments. So who is a percussionist, by the way? A percussionist is a person who can play different instruments, okay, like tabla, drums, etc. Okay, she was a multi-percussionist. And she used to play different percussion instruments like the xylophone, the drums and all. What was xylophone? Right, if you look at the xylophone like this, it was there. And then we used to have these things to beat it off. Okay, 1 second. Like this. We used to play it. It was very nice. Like right now also, if you go to different malls and you need to buy a xylophone, they'll give you a children's xylophone. It plays very well. It has different notes, different tunes. That sounds so well, and so the voice is just shrill and very peaceful if you do that. Okay, and we could hear that and feel that. Now look how Evelyn might have done that, right? Evelyn might have felt that through her blood, through her body parts, right? How did she do that, right? It was adaptation. Like we humans have adapted, we humans have evolved from those Australian Homo sapiens to now we are Homo sapiens, right? We have developed from the apes to the Homo sapiens. Similarly, she developed herself. She developed because she could not hear, she was impaired. So she developed her body parts so that they could hear for her, right? They could feel for her. That's why it's written what we hear, she felt. Now, what's the theme of the chapter? It's very important that we write the theme of the chapter. Okay, so we see. From here we come to know the theme of the story. It's a motivational, inspiring story, yeah? It inspires all of us to overcome our physical disabilities and achieve our dreams and goals just like Evelyn did. We did not need to think of all the barriers which are stopping us. We need to overcome those obstacles, right? We need to overcome our physical disabilities, not only our physical disabilities, but everything which comes on our way, which acts as an obstacle, right? We need to overcome that and we need to achieve our dreams and goals just like Evelyn is going to do here. Evelyn is already done. We're going to read it now, how she did, okay? Alright, I'll not go with the summary because summary is to be done, which is something in the last, and summary has to be written by the person. Yeah, Hindi explanation is also there. So now, we come to this line-to-line explanation here. We have a passage and then we have an explanation of this, alright? Okay, so let's start. Yeah. So, rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl, looking younger than her 17 years, was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. So, 1 second. Yeah. So here it's saying that it's the scene of a train platform, right? She's on the platform, and just mark it that she was 17 years old right now, the present scenario in which we are studying, right? So rush hour crowds, rush hour, maybe about 12 p.m, right, when it's a busy time, busy schedule for everyone. They jostle, they push each other in a very rash way, okay? In a very rash way, they randomly push each other, right, for position on the underground train platform. It's the underground train platform. They are catching for the train, right? A slight girl means she's a small, a thin, a very pretty girl who was looking younger than she is, okay? She's 17 years old, but she was looking younger than that, okay? She was looking younger than her 17 years old, and she was nervous, okay? She was nervous, but she was excited. Now, why she was nervous, why she was excited, we'll get to know that. So she was nervous also, she was excited also. We could read here a line which is given to us, that she could feel the vibrations of the approaching train. We did not, the writer, the author is directly saying her, she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. It's the icing of the cake of the chapter, right? It's telling us in the between only. Now look, explanation here also, it's given in a very nice way. So the scene is of a train platform, it is underground and there's a huge rush at the platform. People are pushing each other to get away. Okay, there's a small thin girl, she's Evelyn. Evelyn is standing at the railway platform waiting for the train, and just as she feels the vibrations of the approaching train, she realizes that the train is about to come. She gets nervous and excited. This is the train that will take Evelyn to London. Okay, so that was the train that will take Evelyn to London. Now, why she's going to London? Why does she want to go to London? So she's going to London to learn music, as she has got admission in the Royal Academy of Music. And right now, Evelyn is in Scotland. She belongs to Scotland. Right now, we'll here look here by a line we'll get. Okay, life in Scotland is not as fast as in London. London has a very fast life. It is urban, where Scotland has farms and countryside. So that is why Evelyn is nervous, because she's leaving Scotland for London. Okay, and she's also excited because she's doing something that she always dreamt of. She's going to the Royal Academy of Music to learn music. Okay, look here. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from Scottish farm. So she was from a countryside, Scotland. It is a country in Europe where most often we'll find that it has farms and all that, right? And it was not a very fast life, a very busy life, because it was just set aside from the urban lives. Evelyn was just 17 years old. She was a teenager, right? And she was very scared that what will happen next. Okay, she's fresh from a Scottish farm, so she's not seen a fresh life, right? And she's just fast life. Okay, so she's just it's daunting, it's scary enough for her. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. Profoundly deaf means absolutely deaf. Profoundly here stands for absolutely. Aspiring musician means a person who's willing to be a musician. So Evelyn, she could not hear. It was a bigger challenge for her, right? Moving from a rural area to a fast life was a smaller challenge, right? But the bigger challenge was that she could not hear. She had a disability. Evelyn Glennon's loss of hearing had been gradual, which means that slowly, okay, it was gradual. Slowly, she started losing the power of hearing, and one day she was absolutely deaf. So it all started gradually. Okay, it all started gradually, which means it all started in a slow way. It was not from the beginning that she was deaf. Remember, it was not from the beginning that she was deaf. Now look. Her mother Her mother remembers. One second. So her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move. I suddenly realized that she hadn't heard, says Isabel Glennie. So, okay, why is this happening? That's why so much fault here. Okay, so Evelyn's mother was Isabel Glennie. Okay, remember, Isabel Glennie is the name of Evelyn's mother. Now, Evelyn's mother, Isabel, she recollects one incident when Evelyn was 8 years old. Okay, 8 years old. She was called, she was waiting for a turn that when she'll be called for playing the piano, right? But when she was called, she did not respond. She couldn't move, as if she did not hear it. Okay, as if she did not hear it. Hear what? Hear her name being called. Okay, for quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from friends and teachers. Okay, for so long, she managed to hide her deafness. She knew that she was becoming deaf. She tried to hide it. Okay, so Evelyn lost her sense of hearing in phases. So it was a gradual process. In the beginning, when she could hear partially, she managed to hide this disability from his friends and teachers. Now, by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated. Deteriorated means worsened. Okay, everything worsened. Her marks started to deteriorate. Marks means her in the grades, the marks. Okay, in the grades, her marks start to worsen or deteriorate. And it was discovered. Okay, headmistress requested that please take her to the doctor. Okay, yeah. So here certain gradual nerve damage was there. Okay. So there, Evelyn, all this happened to her. A severe nerve damage happened, okay, and she was advised that she should not be coming to the normal school. She should be sent to the school of the deaf. Okay, hearing aid. What is hearing aid? It's an equipment that is fitted into a ear, and it helps a person to hear to some extent, not fully, but yes, they could hear to some extent. Everything suddenly looked black. Okay, says Evelyn. Now, here might be you all might have a confusion because Evelyn was deaf. How could she say that everything looked black? Okay, how can we say that everything looked black to her? Look here. So, when Evelyn discovered that she could not hear, she could not be sent to the school, right, of normal school, she would be sent to the school of the deaf children, right? So, her world became just colorless, it turned black. When she heard all this, she was just shocked. Okay, now what does this mean? It means that all of a sudden, you get such bad news, right? You get some news you are not ready to accept, right? And in return, you see blackness. See darkness around you, and that is how Evelyn responded to this news. When she was in a shock, right? She was in a shock that she'll be sent to the deaf school. Her world just became colorless. Everything looked black to her. Just darkness felt around. She was not ready to accept such a bad news, such a worsened news. So that's why it says that everything looked black. But Evelyn was not going to give up. This shows Evelyn's determination, right? Although she got such a bad, shocking news, she was determined. She says that I'll not give up. She was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. So as Evelyn was passionate about music, this is a xylophone, okay? This is a xylophone. So as Evelyn was passionate about music, this news did not break her. She was determined to live her life like normal people. She was determined to carry on her pursuit, her interest towards music. Now one day she noticed a girl was playing xylophone and she said that I'll also play it. Okay. So when Evelyn saw a girl who was playing xylophones, okay. Zooms so fast, no? Yeah. She also wanted to play it. Now most of her teachers discouraged her. But there was a percussionist, Ron Forbes, who spotted her potential. I told you about Ron Forbes, right? So now on one hand, Evelyn's teachers discouraged her because they knew that she could not hear, right? She could not hear. So how was she able to? So hearing was a very important part of music now. So how would she play the notes? Right. Now, Ron Forbes, he saw that Evelyn was very passionate about music, so he decided something. He began by tuning two large drums to different notes. He thought that he would teach Evelyn to feel music, right? He took two large drums, he tuned them to different notes. And drums are musical instruments, and he tuned them. Okay, he tuned each drum to different notes. So the sound produced were different. So it was distinct. Both the drums made different sounds. Then he told Evelyn, don't listen through your ears. He would say, try to sense it some other way. So what did he teach her? He taught her that don't listen through your ears. Try to sense it some other way. Right? This is a very nice line. Okay. Try to feel it, right? Says Evelyn, suddenly I realized I could feel a higher drum from the waist up and lower one from the waist down. Okay, so now as Rob had tuned both the drums, the upper part of Evelyn's body above the waist could feel the higher notes of the drum, while the lower part they could feel the lower notes of the drum. Forbes, he repeated the exercise, and soon Evelyn discovered that she could sense different, certain notes, specialized notes in specialized parts of her body. She made her adapted to it. I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. So Ron Forbes, he taught Evelyn to respond to different sounds, right, to different body parts, specialize it. Right now, once she could identify the sound and vibrations, all these hurdles, the obstacles, that she was able to overcome that. Evelyn's career became outward. She had a determination to become famous, a good musician. And she also did a lot of labor and hard work. She never looked back from that point onwards. So once Evelyn, she overcame all the obstacles, now she would not look back. What happened to her, how she became deaf and all that, she progressed in her career. Okay, now she toured the UK with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16, she has decided to make music in her life. So, here, Evelyn, she toured the UK, United Kingdom. She performed with a youth orchestra. Now, by the time Evelyn, she reached the age of 16, now then her music career it started to expand. She auditioned, sorry, yeah. So she auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. Okay, she auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music in London, and she scored one of the highest marks you can see. Evelyn, now, no other person had scored such a high score as Evelyn had scored. Now she gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performances. Now she shifted from orchestral work to solo performances. So initially Evelyn performed in a group, right? She got well in her music, she worked with a youth orchestra, and she got confident. Then she started performing alone. At the end of the 3-year course, she has captured most of the top awards. Now, by the end of the 3-year course at the Royal Academy, there was the 3 years course. Once she had done that, so she had captured one of the top awards, right? She was honored with one of the top awards of the Royal Academy of Music. And for all this, Evelyn won't accept any hint of heroic achievement. She was not, we can say, aggressive on this, right? If anyone says that Evelyn has done something great, she did not acknowledge that. She was very humble and down to earth. She was very down to earth. Okay, she did not have that ego that, okay, I have done so much things, no one could get, those so much awards, the top honors. No one could, in the history of the Royal Academy, no one could score so much high marks as I did. She did not have that aggression. Okay, she was very humble. She was very down to earth with all the other people also. If you work hard and know where are you going, you'll get there. So Evelyn says 2 important things for success. First, she says hard work, and secondly, she says aim. She says that if you do hard work and you have an aim, a target which you want to achieve, then you will definitely achieve it. Okay, so she says 2 things. First, hard work, and second, aim. These are the 2 important messages which are conveyed by her. And she got right to the top, the world's most sought after multi-percussionist with the mastery of some 1,000 instruments and a hectic international schedule. So you see, it's so much to hear, to learn from Evelyn. Not 1, not 2, not 100, not 200, but over 1,000 instruments. Remember, over 1,000 instruments. She had a mastery over it. Okay, she got right to the top, from the down to the top. She was a multi-percussionist, a very famous one. She had a mastery on over 1,000 instruments. She had a hectic international schedule. She had to give performances here and there and there. Okay. So Evelyn also achieved her goal. She worked hard. She had an aim to become the topmost. She gained mastery for almost 1,000 instruments. Okay, she had many concerts and programs. It is intriguing to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly without hearing. And when you watch Evelyn work or perform so effortlessly, although she cannot hear, you get very curious because Evelyn can identify the slightest, the minutest sound made by the musical instruments. Okay, intriguing watch. Intriguing means fascinating. Okay, so it was very intriguing to watch her. Right, she was not having any confusion, not any doubt, how would I play this, no, that she could even play those minutest of sounds. In our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. Now there's a writer. Who's the writer here? Okay, the writer is Deborah Cowley. So Deborah Cowley, she's taking Evelyn's interview for the last 2 hours, and Deborah says that Evelyn never missed a single word that she spoke. Men with bushy beards gave me trouble. Okay, she laughed. So Evelyn says that those men who have, long, huge, bushy beards, they gave her trouble. Why do they give her trouble? Because when they speak, she cannot see their lip movement as their lips are covered with the bushy beards. Okay, so why did men with bushy beards, they gave her trouble? Because when they speak, she cannot see their lip movement because their lips were covered with those bushy beards. Got it? Okay, now, it is not just watching the lips, it's the whole face, especially the eyes. Evelyn says that, she did not only see the lip movement of a person, she sees the whole face. That means the entire expression of the face of the speaker. Okay, makes Evelyn identify who or what the person is saying. Okay, she adds the expression of the eyes, helps make Evelyn find out, okay, what the person sitting in front of her is saying. She speaks flawlessly with a Scottish lilt. Okay, so the writer says that Evelyn's speech is flawless. Flawless means without a fault or a mistake. She's a Scottish accent, right? Because she's from Scotland, right? My speech is clear because I could hear till I was 11. So Evelyn says that she can speak clearly because she's learned the language, right? Since the age of 11, she could learn. But that does not explain how she managed to learn French and master basic Japanese. But after becoming deaf, Evelyn also learned two new languages. Could not be done at the age of 11, possibly, right? So this was something wonder. Now see Evelyn. This is Evelyn. She's playing a xylophone, okay? This is a xylophone. She's very pretty when she was young. Right now also she's very... Okay. As for music, she explains it pours into every part of my body. It tingles in the skin, my cheekbones, and even in my hair. Okay? So here Evelyn explains that how does she identify music. It creates a sensation in her skin, in her cheekbones, in her hair too. So every part of Evelyn's body responds to music. Okay. When she plays the xylophone, she can sense the sound which is passing through the stick into her fingertips. Whenever she plays the xylophone, she uses the sticks and she can sense, the vibrations which are produced, which pass through the sticks to her fingertips. This is Evelyn right now, right? Yeah, she's so pretty, right? This is Evelyn now. She's old. Now, by leaning against the drum, she can feel the resonances flowing into her body. She says she's leaning against the drum, right? So when Evelyn used to play the drum, she leans towards the drum. She could feel echo which is flowing into her body. On a wooden platform, she removes her shoes so that the vibrations pass through her bare feet and up her into her body, up her legs. So when Evelyn she used to play the drum, she leans towards the drum, right? When she used to perform on a wooden platform, right? She used to move her shoes. She used to feel the vibrations of the musical instruments which pass through the floor, then the feet, then the legs. That is how she used to feel sound of musical instruments. Not surprisingly, Evelyn delights her audience, okay? So here it is not a thing of surprise that Evelyn used to, delight her audience. Okay, in 1991, we're talking about 1991, remember the dates, okay? In 1991, she was presented with a Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award. Which award did she receive? She received the Philharmonic Socialist. Whatever I'm saying now. Not socialist, I'm talking about the Russian Revolution, yeah. Alright. Royal Philharmonic Societies. Okay, which organization? So Royal Philharmonic Society. Its prestigious award, Socialist of the Year award, was presented to her in 1991. Now Evelyn is a delight to hear, right? There's no surprise here. She also used to give very good solo performances. She was presented with the Soloist Award of the Year award by the Royal. Just a second. These ads, no, they trouble a lot. Okay, by the Royal Philharmonic Society. Now, here it is said by the master percussionist James Blades. Okay, the James Blades, he says. 1 minute. So he says that God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her something back very extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far deeply than any of us. So she expresses music so beautifully. Right? He gave her a strong power of sensing words which enabled her to become a very, very great musician. Now here, Evelyn confesses that she's something of a workaholic. What is a workaholic? Means Evelyn is very hardworking. She could not sit spare, okay? She could not sit idle. Like she was very hardworking. She does not stop working. I've just got to work, often harder than classical musicians. So now, to be at par with those people who can hear were classical musicians, Evelyn used to work very, very hard. But the rewards are enormous. Evelyn says that the rewards she gets for her hard work, they're huge, they're big. Apart from the regular concerts, Evelyn also used to give free concerts in prisons and hospitals. Okay, she used to do charity also. She used to give free concerts. Now she also gives high priority to classes for young musicians. Okay, she also used to take the classes of the youth, of the young musicians, those who aspire to be musicians like her, for those children who want to learn music, right? So, Anne Richland, there is a person here, Anne Richland of the Beethoven, okay, of the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children says she's a shining example for deaf children. They see that there's no way that they cannot go, right? Anne Richland, she is from the Beethoven Fund of Deaf Children. She says that, yeah, she's a very shining example, outstanding inspiration for all, right? We can see that a deaf person can accomplish something which a normal person couldn't do here, right? Evelyn Glennie has already accomplished more than the most twice her age, right? Achieved so much that those who are double of her age have also not achieved so much popularity, so much awards that Evelyn has. She's brought percussion to the front of the orchestra and demonstrated that it can be very moving. Orchestra is a group of people who have played different musical instruments, and generally percussion instruments like drums and xylophone, they are played at the back end of orchestra, right? Or the side. But when Evelyn used to perform that percussion instruments, they have to come in the front of orchestra. Okay, she has also given inspiration to those who are handicapped, people who look to her and say, if she can do it, I can do it. And not the least, she has given enormous pleasure to millions. Evelyn's story is an inspiration to those people who are physically disabled. They can say that if she can do that, so yeah, I can also do it. Right? They feel that if Evelyn can achieve her dreams, so even they can, right? And Evelyn has given a lot of pleasure to her audience by playing so soothing and so good music. Okay, so here we have question answers, which we don't have to do here. This was all about our chapter of The Sound of Music. So, a lot of inspiration we get, right? After reading, going through the story, we get a lot of inspiration from Evelyn. We could learn a lot of things from Evelyn, right? Evelyn Glennie. So, let's do a quick, just important things. The chapter's name is The Sound of Music, and the writer is Deborah Cowley. She had a 2 hours interview with her, and Evelyn Glennie's mother is Sabine Glennie. And 3 more people were mentioned here. Robert Forbes, who identified her potential. James Blade, no? 1 second. James Blade, who says we used to inspire her. Master James Blade. Then we had Anne Richland from the Beethoven Fund of Deaf School. Anne Richland, that's it. So these are the characters who are mentioned in this. This was also very important and theme we have already discussed. Now there is a part 2 of this chapter also. Okay, not this chapter but another thing only, where we'll be dealing about, this was a Scottish, right? She had a Scottish lilt. Now we'll talk about the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan is from Bihar, okay? We'll be discussing about this person. He is also a majestic person. She plays majestically Shehnai. In fact, you see Evelyn Glennie, she used to play percussion instruments, right? And percussions were already introduced at the back end or at the side of orchestra. But Shehnai was not introduced yet. Bismillah was the one to introduce Shehnai also, and also to play it very beautifully. When independent India came, right? He was the first one to welcome the independent India with his Shehnai. It's a very beautiful, very good chapter. We'll be dealing with it in the next part of our video. Till then, I hope it's very, very clear to all of you. And I'll encourage you all to go ahead and solve the question answers. That's it for today. So, thank you everyone.